Augustine's wedding. Count Otto Straßburg leaned back in his chair, gazing up at the high ceiling. The mansion has also become quite old. The 50 servants that once numbered 50 have been dismissed, and now only the head chef and 4 maids remain to look after the family. The chandelier hanging from the ceiling was covered with a thin layer of dust over the years, causing it to reflect light dully. His beloved horse is gone, and he has no choice but to use one of his 2 Mercedes-Benzes to get around. That heavy breathing, the mane sparkling in the sunlight, the shiny black fur, they were already out of his reach. "Count, your dinner is ready." "Yes, thank you." Urged by the head chef's voice, Otto slowly stood up. A short walk down the hall from the living room leads to a large dining room large enough to accommodate 100 people. No matter how much his fortune decreased, he did not want to skimp on his meals. That was why he did not let go of his position as head chef. As if to reflect that sentiment, sumptuous dishes are lined up on the table today as well. "Thank you, another wonderful meal today." Otto smiled gently and praised the chef. Count Otto Straßburg, 37 years old. He is the young head of the prestigious Straßburg family. However, the house fell into decline with the Second World War, which turned Europe into a quagmire of war. The peasants were freed and income from the estates was cut off. "There's no other way. I'll sell the antiques and make a living." Otto, who had lost his parents and most of his family in the war, muttered this as he looked out at the mansion and gardens that were left behind. "Your Excellency, I could live luxuriously for 1,000 years and still not use up all the antiques in your mansion," said the antique dealer I had called over, and he took the small items and left 50,000 marks behind. "Your Excellency, if you ever want to sell again, please let me know." And so 20 years passed. There's still a ton of stuff left for sale. I'm sure I won't have any trouble finding food for the time being. Otto munched on a sausage and pondered how he would spend the afternoon. "I think I'll go visit Hans for the first time in a while." After finishing his meal, he walked down the carpeted corridor and through what he considered a rather tasteless medieval entrance to the outside. There is a square in front of the mansion, and cars are now stored in the former stables. When I looked into the stable used by the groom, the old driver appeared. "Count, may I have a ride?" "Yes, excuse me, but could you please drive me to the North Forest?" "The North Forest, Hans Forest, you mean?" "Yes." The black Mercedes quietly starts to move. The path passes through well-maintained flower beds and eventually leads into a cypress forest. This area is still tended by gardeners and is as tidy as a park. Eventually, as you emerge from the forest, you will come across barren fields and dilapidated huts. "Hey, Torsten, I wonder where all the peasants who used to live here have gone." The driver, Torsten, is an elderly servant who has served the Straßburg family for 50 years. "Count, they were called up as soldiers towards the end of the war, and most of them never returned. The peasant women and children who were left behind worked in the fields, waiting for their husbands to return, but eventually they too passed away, and the children left for the city." The Straßburg family once owned vast tracts of farmland. When Torsten was hired, no one could have imagined that this prestigious company would soon fall into decline. The car enters the forest again. This time it's a gloomy cypress forest. With no one to maintain it, fallen trees are piled up and it is in a state of disrepair. The roads were rough, and stones hit the underside of cars, making loud thumping noises. After driving along this rough road for about an hour, the forest finally ended and bright sunlight shone through. At a gap in the forest, there is a wooden sign that reads, "From here onwards it is private property. No one is permitted to enter. Straßburg family." The car stopped there. "Thank you, Torsten," Otto said as he got out of the car. "We'll walk from here." "I understand. I'll come and pick you up at this place at 5 p.m. The road ahead is not passable by car, because from here onwards it is no longer the Straßburg family garden. Federal railway tracks run alongside the forest." Otto crossed the railroad tracks, crossed a small area of flat ground, and entered the woods on the other side. It is completely different from the garden forest with its neat rows of cypress and cypress trees. The trees are of various types and shapes and grow in a chaotic manner. It was a dark, damp forest. After walking a little further, I saw a wooden sign that read, "Hans's house is just ahead. Everyone is welcome, Hans's house." Soon a small hut comes into view. "Hey, Hans, Augustine, are you there?" Otto called out, unable to contain his pounding heart.
Thank you for watching until the end.